All right, whittling down the parts that I'm going to need to put on while the frame's upside down. So yeah, this one's definitely better than this one. That goes out to the shed pile. And this one's definitely better than that one. I'm going to be trying to source new springs. That bar and those two brackets. I'm going to see if I can source an idler pulley. But for now, we're working on these things. I need to find out if this is normally open or normally closed switch. So I do have one that's actually working, so I should be able to measure that. So like I said, all three of these bars were stuck. So what I found is this old school battery terminal remover. Works really good to press that out. So I had to actually start by getting put the nut on it and get it started, and then keep working this back and forth. And then when I loosened up, I tightened this a little bit more, and this one's just about ready to come out. All right, so the implement pedal assembly, number one. I can get the shaft to move maybe 1/8 of an inch, but yeah, the switch is broken. Shaft number 2 doesn't move at all, but the switch may be salvageable. The one we're going with is the one I was able to take apart. The switch actually moves, and everything is apart to where I can clean it and get the shaft cleaned up to where it'll move freely. So this is the one we're going with. And I almost forgot. The screws that hold this in are both slotted. But when I took this one off, we had one slotted screw, and then we had one unslotted screw. That one was a bear to get out. So yeah, just noticing some differences here. Well, I hope I don't hurt your brain. So yeah, I'm working on this stuff, but I ran into the problem that I knew I was going to have to run into, and it's the original safety switches. Neither of them work. I got two. I actually took one apart to figure out how it worked. So that didn't help me. I may get into that here in a minute, but for the most part, what I've duplicated here is we got a battery, and we're going to come through, and instead of the fuse, I've got the amp meter, and then we're going to come into an ignition switch, and then from the ignition switch, we got the neutral safety switch. Now that's this guy right here. So basically, when you push the clutch in, it's going to push this in. All right. Then we go from the neutral safety switch to the attachment switch. The attachment switch is opposite. It's normally out because you got the attachment up. When you engage the attachment, it's going to push this switch in. So this one's normally closed. And then we're going back to the battery. So digging through all my stuff here, what we have is we have the connector for this switch. We have a connector for this switch, and I've got the connector for the key switch. We also have a new key switch and a new solenoid, and I'm going to use that amp meter. So to start, and I've got a light bulb hooked up to indicate the starter. So it's going through the solenoid. So basically I've got the key switch here, and if the clutch isn't pushed in, nothing happens. I push the clutch in, and we turn the key, it's cranking the starter. If I let go, okay, so now the other thing I want to test is come over here and have the key on. If I hit start and this is engaged, say I got the sickle mower engaged, so this would be down, no start. We let the sickle mower off, So that's basically my wiring setup. I've confirmed everything works. We are going to use new switches and new solenoids. But yeah, I wanted to figure out how I was going to get around these bad switches. So I did have some, the bolt pattern on the plastic switches do line up. So I think I got a working solution for the electrical. So seeing that neither of these switches worked, even though the plunger sort of moves on them, this one was definitely shot. So I decided I'll go ahead and take it apart. And all I did was I just peeled the can open. And first thing that came out was this guy right here. This goes to the contacts. And it's got, you can see it's shiny there. And the way I think this was set up is obviously you had a spring here. Then you got this little brass deal. So this means the switch would be normally closed as long as the button was in any position here. The button fits over it. So, but when you push the button all the way down, it opens the contacts. But my misunderstanding, or I don't understand, is them contacts still are touching, barely touching these contacts here. And if we try it this way, that seems to work better that way. But then, unless this washer is over it and then the plunger fits on the washer, but then you can't push it. So that's not the way that goes. So it has to go this way. I'm not sure where the washer came into play, because it don't fit unless the washer went under. And then if you put this on, it never breaks contact. So I don't know. I do not understand how that switch works. Now that we got the electrical sorted out, and I've got the best parts sorted that I think needs to go on while the frame's upside down, I'm going to go look at some teardown pictures now and just see if there's anything else that needs to go on while we have it in this position. And I'll be working on all that stuff tomorrow. Thanks for watching.